That's not what we're
Fix
saying.
it. No.
Go to Judge Cranshaw because I wrote on my last minute entry, wasn't gonna stay with me, so give me, that's okay. I'm gonna do an in custody date though, so. So I just regular review, yeah. Okay. No, I think Friday's good. So that's what date is that? The 17th. Okay. All right. So Ms. Grigsby, I am going to hold you on $1,000 bond, appoint the public defender to represent you. And your next court date will be January 17th at 1:30.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now. And that's it.
That's all.
That's all.
6,000.
Yeah.
You guys like us?
Okay. What's your name?
Robert Price.
All right, I'm seeing you on a misdemeanor, a shoplift case that you got a warrant from November of last year. And so as long as you're in there, I'm going to appoint a misdemeanor attorney to represent you, Jill Gookin. I'm going to hold you on a $100 bond so you get credit for being in there. And then your next court date in justice court on the shoplift will be January 14th at 1 p.m. So your attorney will.
Sorry, ma'am, I was supposed to get released tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. The judge, Joe was doing a release, a low bond release or whatnot.
Are you? So you were already ordered by judge to be released?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then I'll change it. Because I was just gonna hold you. So don't go back to the incident location. It's a shoplift
Yes,
from
ma'am.
January. Come back to court on February 11th at 8:30 in justice court. I'm not gonna give you an attorney right now since you're gonna be out of custody. So you gotta remember that date yourself, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
All right, all right. And you'll be released on this too.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You got me, sir? Okay.
What's your name?
Reyes Ursula Zamora.
All right, I'm seeing you on another warrant, it looks like, for obstructing a highway and failure to appear from August 12th of last year. So I'm going to appoint Janet Altschuler to represent you since she's already representing you. And then since you have some cases set for tomorrow, I'm going to set this case for tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'm not going to hold you on this, but you've got other holds. But that way, maybe all your cases can happen at the same time, okay?
Okay,
All right, so that was just one more case. That was it, sir.
thank you.
What's your name?
Jasmine Marie Stewart.
Because of domestic violence assault, domestic violence disorderly conduct, I'm going to order you not to consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, and you need to come back to justice court on February 11th at 10:30 or a warrant will issue for your arrest. You understand?
I understand.
Okay, then you're released.
Thank you.
Sit up, George. Thank you.
Where the where? I'm sorry.
Are you sitting, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's Tucson.
What's your name, sir?
Cesar Olivaria.
All right, you are charged with criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, 2 counts, and then disorderly conduct, domestic violence, and driving under the influence of alcohol. So I am going to order you not to have any contact with Martha Zermano, no return to her residence, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, and don't drive without a valid driver's license. And you need to come back to city court on February 11th at 1:30, or a warrant will issue for your arrest. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then you're released.
Thank you, ma'am.
Same thing, you're supposed to sit back out there by the mails.
Okay, I'll let you. Thank you, thank you.
You wanna go to work, please?
Yeah.
Is there TV here?
It doesn't look like I have a Spanish speaker either, so I think that the interpreter was here, and I will excuse you. Thank you.
No.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Oh.
Good evening, Your Honor. Carter Santini here.
Hello. What's your name, sir?
My name is Garrett Duarte.
All right, and you have a warrant for your arrest out of Maricopa County Council. I won't read the charges. And it's got a $100,000 bond on it. Did you want to be heard?
Yes. Judge, just briefly.
Okay. Go ahead.
Judge, he has no prior criminal history. I understand the allegations in this, but he never was picked up on this before. He's never missed a court date. So for those reasons, Judge, we would ask for his release. If you're not inclined to release, I would ask for a much more reasonable bond of $1,100.
All right, well, I'm going to go with what Maricopa County set, and that's the $100,000 bond. So I am going to stick with that, considering I don't know any more about the case. So no contact with minors, $100,000 bond, and we'll review the case. No, that's not the right date. When do we review this? I was thinking it was the right date, but you give me today's date. When do we review an out-of-county hold? Hold on, we'll get you a date in a second, sir.
February 3rd at 9 a.m.
Can you shrink? I think you can, but all right, February 3rd at 9 a.m. is the next time we'll review it to make sure that you've been picked up by Maricopa County, sir. No?
I don't have a seat.
Felony, all you guys, come on.
Where?
Yeah, right here.
Are you guys? No, right here. Yeah, are you second? Yeah. all right.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. What's your name, sir?
Travis Baker.
All right, Baker, you're charged with trafficking in stolen property and theft of means of transportation. And the state is asking for a bond counsel, which I wasn't necessarily going to do, but now I'm looking at the justification for the bond recommendation from the charging agency. And so now I'm rethinking it. So do you want to be heard?
I would, Your Honor. I hope I can get you back to your original proposition. I'd like to point out some important things leading towards judgment I have. Right, 2017. The information I had, he never had a failure to appear, and it looks like somebody been even really terminated successfully a little bit early. That shows us that he's not going to be a flight risk. I would also like to note that while he was originally not cooperative in the interim complaint, he ended up being very cooperative with the police, almost to his detriment on it. So that does show that he's at least willing to play with authorities and will make court. The other thing I would like to note, Judge, that he has been here for 20 mom is in the emergency room in Banner and currently receiving dialysis. He is the primary caregiver for his mother. He also lives with his mother, so he has stable housing here in town. So those reasons, Judge, I would ask for his release. If you're not inclined to release him, if you are going back on your initial inclination, Judge, I would ask that you impose a reasonable bond of $1,100, given that he is indigent. Any bond will be more than he can post, more than likely.
All right, and I see what Mr. Poston has recommended. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Baker. No contact with the victim, no alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to release him to pretrial services and set the preliminary hearing for February 3rd at 1:30. If you don't appear, sir, a warrant will issue for your arrest. You also have a misdemeanor drug paraphernalia and driving on a suspended license out of city court. So you need to come back to court on that one, February 10th at 2:00, or a warrant will issue for your arrest.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Just wait out here.
Yes, just wait over there.
Go right now, have a seat. One last.
What's your name?
Ismael Dueñas.
All right, you're charged with felony criminal damage. And I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, order you not to drive without a valid license, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And I'm going to release you to pretrial services. So you need to report to them and come back to court for your preliminary hearing on February 3rd at 1:30. If you don't appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest. You understand?
Yes.
All right.
Pleasure.
We're getting ready to speak out first.
I'll give you paperwork.
We'll talk about it. Oh, yeah, you good.
What's your name, ma'am?
Mariah Fletcher.
You are charged with robbery and aggravated assault on a police officer. And counsel, the state's asking for a $25,000 bond. Did you want to be heard?
Yes, just briefly, Your Honor. Ms. Fletcher has asked me to argue for her release. In favor of her release, Judge, she has a longstanding ties to the community. She is the mother of 3 kids who are dependent upon her. And she is not employed right now. She is a student at both ASU as well as in cosmetology school through Empire. So, Judge, I believe that she does not pose a serious threat to the community that pretrial services couldn't supervise. If you are inclined to hold her on a bond, Judge, we would ask for a reasonable bond of $1,100.
Okay. I am going to appoint a public defender to represent Ms. Fletcher. I am going to order her not to have any contact with the victim, the officer, no firearms or other weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to hold her on a $7,500 bond. Pretrial services if posted, and the preliminary hearing will be January 22nd at 1:30. Then Ms. Fletcher has 2 shoplifts out of justice court. So I am going to, while she's in there, hold her on a $250 bond on those, appoint Jill Gookin to represent her. And those will be set for the 14th of January at 1 p.m. And then she has city court cases, domestic violence, assault, endangerment, disorderly conduct, theft and endangerment, domestic violence, theft by control. So I'm going to hold her on a $500 bond on those, order her not to have any contact with Lourdes Zarate, not to return to her residence, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. Appoint the city public defender on those, and the court date on those will be on January 21st at 1:45.
I told my family. My school.
You want me to call for you?
Yeah, I have my kids and I have my school and my sister and my family, my rent.
So that's Miss Garcia, right? Yes, okay. What's your name, ma'am?
Maricela Garcia.
All right, you are charged with possession of drug paraphernalia, 2 counts. And counsel, I'm gonna be holding her on a whole bunch of stuff for city court. She's eligible for a smart hearing, I see. So I'm proposing that I hold her on $100 bond, because probably city court will see her before that thing happens. And then, does that work?
Sure, Judge, as long as it's noted over my objection, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so ma'am, I'm gonna appoint the public defender. No alcohol or illegal drugs, $100 bond, pretrial services have posted. The smart hearing is January 21st at 9 o'clock, and the preliminary hearing is January 22nd. Then Miss Garcia, oh, you have a misdemeanor in South Tucson too. On that one, I'm gonna release you because they have a court date of January 27th. I think you'll be out on everything by then. That's a criminal trespass charge. So don't go back to the incident location and come back to South Tucson City Court on January 27th at 10 o'clock. Then you have 5 pages of city court cases that you failed to appear on. Drug paraphernalia threats, disorderly conduct, drug paraphernalia, threats, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to appoint the city public defender to represent you, order you not to go back to any of the incident locations, no alcohol or illegal drugs, $500 bond, and your city court case will be January 16th at 1:45. And that's it.
I just can't see that, but
Ashley. Yeah. Let's see it.
All right. So what's your name?
Burden Hassel.
You're charged with possession of dangerous drug, possession of drug paraphernalia. You appear to be eligible to participate in a diversion program called STEPS. It only requires you to participate in a plan specific to your needs for a short time. If you choose to participate and complete the program, the felony charges in your arrest report will be permanently dismissed without you ever being formally charged. Are you interested in learning more about the STEPS program at your next hearing?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I am going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. No alcohol or illegal drug. You're released to pretrial services. You need to come back to court for that diversion hearing on January 21st at 9 o'clock. And then you need to come back for your preliminary hearing on February 3rd at 1:30, or warrants will issue for your arrest. You understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Clerk.
On this one, Mr. Poston, did you mean a $500 bond or did you mean a $5,000?
One moment, Your Honor. 5,000.
Okay. All right. What's your name, sir?
Michael McClure.
All right. You have a warrant for your arrest for failure to appear at arraignment on a dangerous drug charge and a drug paraphernalia charge from March of last year. And counsel, it's a $500 bond on the warrant. Did you want to be heard?
Yes, Judge, Mr. McClure would like to be released to pretrial services. He was homeless at the issuance of the warrant, so missed the mailing out of it. And what he's relayed to me, Judge, is that he has been staying at Catalina Behavioral Health Services and graduated from the ARC. So he's actually been doing what the court would have wanted and availing himself of the recovery community here in Tucson. So I think that given the allegation, we could give him a chance to show up to arraignment out of custody If not, the $500 bond is what we would be asking.
Okay. All right, so you finished the ARC, Mr. McClure?
This sounds good.
Okay, well, that's good. All right, I'm gonna give you a shot then. I will release you to pretrial services, no alcohol or illegal drugs, report to them. Appoint the public defender, and the arraignment date will be January 21st at 1:30. So you need to show up or a warrant will issue for your arrest, okay?
Good luck, sir. Right, don't listen.
Don't
Thank you very
go
much.
Don't go yet.
Oh.
That's on a domestic violence case of mine.
Oh.
I've issued 2 warrants for that one. So why should I let you go on that one, Mr. McClure?
I wasn't aware of those charges. I was not aware. Last time I came here, yeah. Okay.
Well, you got arrested twice and then didn't show up twice. So how long have you been in the ARC?
I've been there 32 days. You could talk to Kelsey, the caseworker, and Ray. I was trying to talk to Ray. He handles cases, but he never informed the courts. He told me I had to take the certificate. I had to take the initiative to take the certificate to Superior Court.
Okay. All right. So you had a no contact with Irina Hernandez. Are you with her anymore or not?
No, I haven't talked to her in over a year.
Okay. So I am going to, I'll release you then, since you did the ARC. I'm always impressed that people do this. So, no contact with Miss Hernandez, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. Don't go back to her house. I'm going to appoint the public defender. So I want you to call them on this phone number on the minute entry this week. Okay. And
Okay.
then I'm going to have you come back to court on February 13th at 10 o'clock, or a warrant will issue and I won't let you out again. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. You're released. Oops, sorry.
One more?
Thank you.
Someone take a seat. You're okay.
All right. What's your name, sir?
Miguel Ángel Sierra Valles, ma'am.
All right.
No,
sir.
John.
Second degree burglary. And
Yeah.
the state's asking for a $15,000 bond. And I will note that he said he'd keep going back, but I could probably stop.
No, ma'am.
There's some shredded paperwork. Just one. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, Judge, my apologies. Please go ahead.
So you want to be heard on the bond request?
Yes, Judge, Mr. Sierra Valles would like to be released. Given the nature of the allegations being a property crime, he also has reported that he has employment at Raytheon that he is concerned about. And he's given me a number for his mother, which is housing. Mother?
Yes, I still with my mother right
It
now.
should be, and then he's have housing through his mother. I'm not inclined for release, Judge. I believe that $15,000 might be a bit excessive and would ask for a more reasonable bond of 11.
Ma'am,
I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Sierra Valles. I'm going to order him not to go to the incident location. And since he already said that he was going to keep going back, I am going to hold him on a $10,000 bond, released to pretrial services if posted, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and the preliminary hearing date will be January 22nd at 1:30. And that's all. Thank you all.
Thanks, Judge.
Sorry about that, sir.